Imagine a country where trains are never late, where streets are so clean you could eat off them, where people work 16 hours a day without complaining. Sounds like the perfect society, right? Now imagine this. That same country has an entire government ministry created just to fight loneliness. That same country has people who die alone, and nobody finds them for weeks. That same country has a word, Kodawari, for people who are so obsessed with perfection that they forget to live. Japan is the most disciplined country on earth. And somehow, it is also the loneliest. Today, we find out why. Part 1. How Japan built the most ordered society on earth. Let's start with what everyone sees. Japan's bullet trains run with a 0.9-second average delay. Not minutes, seconds. In Tokyo, there are professional apologizers, people whose entire job is to bow and say sorry on behalf of companies when trains are even slightly late. Japanese schoolchildren clean their own classrooms. No janitors. The children sweep, mop, and organize every single day. Because in Japan, discipline is not taught, it is lived. There is a concept in Japan called kaizen, continuous improvement. Every single day, just a little better. And another, shokunin, a person who dedicates their entire life to mastering one single craft. One man in Tokyo has been making the same egg rolls for 50 years. Same recipe, same motion, same dedication. And he still feels he hasn't perfected it. Part 2. What discipline steals from you? Every system has a shadow side. Japan's discipline comes at a price. That price is called Karoshi, death from overwork. It's so common in Japan that the government had to give it an official name. Millions of Japanese workers wake up, commute, work 14 hours, come home, sleep, and do it again. No complaints. No, I need a break. No vulnerability. Because in Japan, showing weakness is shameful. There is a word, gaman. It means endure, suppress, never show pain. And so they don't. They smile at work. They bow politely. They say, I'm fine. And then they go home to an empty apartment and sit alone in complete silence. Because nobody knows what is actually happening inside. This is where discipline becomes a prison. Part 3. The crisis nobody is talking about. In 2021, Japan did something no country had ever done before. They appointed a minister of loneliness, a government position whose only job is to fight loneliness. Because the numbers were terrifying. Over 1.5 million Japanese people are classified as Hikikomori, people who have completely withdrawn from society. They don't leave their rooms, sometimes for months, sometimes for years. And then there is Kodokushi, lonely death. People who die alone in their apartments and are not found for weeks, sometimes months. In a country of 125 million people packed into tiny cities, people are dying alone and nobody notices. How does the most disciplined society on earth become the loneliest? Part 4. Why discipline and loneliness always travel together. Here's what psychology tells us. Discipline requires control. Control requires walls. Walls keep pain out, but walls also keep people out. When you train an entire society to suppress emotion, to never show weakness, to always perform perfectly, you create people who are incredibly capable on the outside and completely isolated on the inside. Japan's culture rewards the mask, the perfectly bowed head, the always on time train, the spotless classroom. But it never taught people how to take the mask off. And when you can never take the mask off, you forget who you are underneath it. This is the paradox of Japan. The more perfect the outside, the more broken the inside. And honestly, look around you. Isn't this what we are all doing? Performing on social media, pretending we are fine, building walls and calling them being professional. Japan didn't create this problem. Japan just made it visible.
Part 5. What Japan is doing and what we can learn. But here is the part nobody talks about. Japan is fighting back. Those same Okinawan villages where people live to 100, they have something called moai, a group of people who commit to each other for life. Not followers, not colleagues, not connections. People who will show up at 2 a.m. when everything falls apart. And research shows people with strong moai live 7 years longer on average. Japan is also slowly, very slowly, changing its work culture. Companies are now legally required to give employees mental health days. Young Japanese people are rejecting Karoshi. They are choosing Ikigai, their reason to live, over their reason to work. The most disciplined country on earth is learning that discipline without connection is just a beautiful cage. Conclusion. So what is Japan teaching us? That perfection without vulnerability is loneliness. That discipline without connection is just a prison with clean floors. And that the most important thing is not how perfectly you perform, but who you come home to. Japan is not broken. Japan is evolving. And maybe we should evolve with it. If this video made you think, share it with one person who needs to hear this today. And if you want to go deeper into the hidden psychology of different cultures, subscribe, because that is exactly what this channel is about. See you in the next one.